On Christmas Eve of 1945, a quiet family home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, turned into the setting of one of the most haunting and enduring mysteries in American history. The Sodder family, George and Jennie, along with their 10 children, gathered together to celebrate Christmas. The night was filled with warmth, laughter, and a glow of festive decorations. But before the morning sun rose, their lives and their family would be shattered forever. That night, a fire broke out inside the Sodder home. Within minutes, flames engulfed the wooden structure. George and Jennie managed to escape, along with 4 of their children. But 5 children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jennie, and Betty, were never seen again. The fire reduced the house to ashes, yet no bodies were ever recovered from the rubble. Not a single bone, not a single trace of the 5 missing children. Authorities quickly ruled it a tragic house fire. But for George and Jennie Sodder, that explanation was impossible to accept. Their children had not been consumed by the flames. Something darker, something stranger had happened that night, and for the rest of their lives, they would fight to uncover the truth. From the very beginning, the Sodder case was filled with unsettling details. Earlier that evening, a mysterious phone call came into the house. A woman with an unfamiliar voice asked for a man whose name no one in the family recognized. When Jennie told her she had the wrong number, the caller laughed strangely before hanging up. Not long after, one of the older Sodder daughters noticed a car parked along the road, watching the house. Then came the fire itself. At around 1 a.m., Jennie awoke to the smell of smoke. She rushed to wake her husband George and their children. In the chaos, the family scrambled to escape, but when they regrouped outside, they realized that 5 children had not made it out. George tried desperately to re-enter the burning home. He attempted to climb through a window, but flames and smoke forced him back. He ran to retrieve his ladder, but strangely, it was missing from its usual spot. He tried to start his coal trucks, parked nearby, to use them as a way to reach the upper windows, but neither of them would start, even though both had been running perfectly the day before. The fire department was called, but in a strange twist, they did not arrive until hours later, long after the home was reduced to ashes. By that time, the 5 children were gone without a trace. When investigators sifted through the debris, they concluded that the missing children had perished in the flames. But this explanation raised more questions than answers. The Sodders were unconvinced. Experts later confirmed that in a fire of such short duration, less than 45 minutes, it would have been nearly impossible for all traces of 5 bodies to be completely destroyed. Bones, teeth, and fragments should have remained. Yet nothing was ever found. Then came the disturbing clues. The telephone repairman told the family that their phone lines had been deliberately cut. A neighbor reported seeing a man on the property taking down a block and tackle, a tool used for removing car engines, perhaps explaining why George's trucks refused to start. Others claimed they saw a strange man watching the house in the days leading up to the fire. Even more chilling were the sightings that followed. Over the years, witnesses claimed to have seen the Sodder children alive. One woman reported seeing the children in a passing car the night of the fire. Another claimed they were at a tourist stop several hours away. Years later, a hotel worker in Charleston, South Carolina, insisted she had seen 4 of the Sodder children accompanied by 2 unknown adults. Theories began to swirl. Some believed the children had been kidnapped in retaliation for George's outspoken political views. George Sodder, originally from Italy, was a vocal critic of Benito Mussolini, and it was said he had heated arguments with fellow immigrants who still supported the dictator. Could the fire have been an act of revenge? Others suggested organized crime might have been involved, or that the children had been sold or taken by someone with connections. The missing ladder, the disabled trucks, the cut phone lines, everything pointed to a deliberate plan, not a random accident. Desperate for answers, the Sodders launched their own investigation. They hired private detectives, distributed flyers, and even put up a massive billboard on Route 16 with photographs of the 5 missing children and a reward for information. For decades, the haunting image of those children stared out at passing drivers, a constant reminder of the mystery that refused to die. One of the most disturbing moments came in 1967, more than 20 years after the fire. Jennie received a letter in the mail, postmarked from Kentucky. Inside was a photograph of a young man in his 20s. On the back, in strange handwriting, were the words, "Louis Sodder. I love Brother Frankie. Ill boys." A 90132 or 35. The man in the picture bore a striking resemblance to Louis, one of the missing children. The Sodders believed it was him, now grown. But the letter contained no return address, no explanations. One of the most disturbing moments came in 1967, more than 20 years after the fire. Jennie received a letter in the mail, postmarked from Kentucky. Inside was a photograph of a young man in his 20s. On the back, in strange handwriting, were the words, "Louis Sodder. I love Brother Frankie. Ill boys." A 90132 or 35. The man in the picture bore a striking resemblance to Louis, one of the missing children. The Sodders believed it was him, now grown. But the letter contained no return address, no explanation. George and Jennie sent the photo to the FBI, but the investigation led nowhere. The mysterious sender was never identified. Was it truly Louis, alive and living under a new identity? Or was it a cruel hoax meant to torment a grieving family? Until their final days, George and Jennie refused to accept that their children had died in the fire. Jennie, in particular, wore black for the rest of her life, a symbol of mourning mixed with defiance. The family left the billboard standing for decades, a testament to their refusal to give up hope. As the years passed, the Sodder case became one of America's most enduring cold cases. No remains were ever found. No definitive evidence proved what happened to the 5 missing children. And yet, the unanswered questions remain as chilling today as they were in 1945. Was it simply a tragic accident, a fire that consumed 5 young lives? Or was it a carefully planned abduction, covered up by flames? If the children survived, who took them and why? And if the letter truly was from Louis, why had he never come home? The mystery of the Sodder children remains unsolved to this very day, a painful wound that never fully healed for the family. It is a story of grief, determination, and unanswered questions that continues to haunt anyone who dares to look closer. Because sometimes the scariest mysteries aren't about ghosts or monsters, but about what human beings are capable of doing to one another. This is the story of the Sodder children, a story without an ending, a riddle without an answer, and a question that still lingers. What really happened on that fateful Christmas Eve? This is Whispers Unsolved. If you want to uncover more chilling mysteries from around the world, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, some stories are never truly finished.
For more strange disappearances and unsolved cases, subscribe to Whispers Unsolved.